In today's mini episode of Not Nice Clever, we are sharing two pieces of advice each that have had a major positive impact on our businesses. So, you're welcome for the intellectual shortcut that this mini episode will be, helping you manifest and bring you closer to your future self that much more efficiently. So, first piece of advice, Candace, what are you sharing?
When I first started my entrepreneurship journey, it was actually year 2, and I hired a coach. And I remember I was kind of complaining. I was complaining that,
Mm,
people aren't taking me seriously and people don't see me as anything but a teacher. And it was kind of a identity shift that had to take place that I was feeling a lot of maybe anxiety around. I was feeling just not seen,
mm,
misunderstood. And that reminds me of an episode we did with Giselle where she said, "Are you committed to being misunderstood?" Oof. That was a truth bomb. But
zinger.
at that moment, I remember just feeling really annoyed with people, annoyed that they didn't have the vision that I wanted for my life. Like they didn't see it too.
Mhm.
And what my coach told me was that I needed to stop taking advice or putting any weight on the opinions of people who hadn't done what I wanted to do. And that really helped me to free up mind space and give me more energy because I stopped listening to people who weren't entrepreneurs, who didn't see my vision for where I was going. And I started listening to the people who were living the kind of big life that I had dreamed of for myself and
Mhm.
listening to their stories and how they handled difficult situations and how they overcame, the haters that are probably your friends and family at first. And that really helped me to just quiet the noise and focus on where I was going. So that is something that I would tell you if you're an entrepreneur and you're growing your business, make sure you're only listening to people who are living the life and who have the business that you want and not people who don't understand what that takes.
Mhm. Such good advice. Because, I think I'd said something like this before, like all humans are created equal, but not all advice is. And so depending on where you want to go, and this is a great segue into the piece of advice I want to share. Because when you do dream of living a big life and you have these amazing aspirations and you're vision boarding, for me, I would start to kind of get like analysis by paralysis. I'd get a little overwhelmed. And so when I had shared that with one of the first coaches I ever hired, um, she told me, she was like, "Look, Kat, are you capable of helping two people this week?" And I'm like, "Yeah, duh." Like in my sleep. She's like, "Cool." She's like, "Just do that." I'm like, "But what about that?" She's like, "I don't want to hear it." She's like, "You tell me once you've helped two people." And then I did. And I came back to her and she's like, "Okay." She's like, "Now help two more people. Find them or they'll find you."
Mhm.
I was like, "Okay." And so we just kept on doing this like bit by bit, and she had shared this framework of, you build two by two a multi-million dollar or like multi-visionary, world or life for yourself. It starts with just two people and then the next two
Mhm.
and then the next two and then the next two, and over time we so underestimate what it takes, or the power of just going two by two by two, step by step over
Yeah.
time, right? We want to like fast forward. But that's a piece of advice that really helped me reframe that overwhelm.
I'm thinking about two stories that kind of impacted me a lot in my journey. And one of them was really recent. So we were at Sell It, and Ryan Serhant was sharing about how he started the Serhant signature arm
Oh, I
of
love that
the business.
story.
And I love
Yeah,
this story so much.
so
So
good.
Serhant signature is the arm of the Serhant brokerage that handles $10 million plus properties.
Hmm.
And it's just that white glove service, that next level of care
Hmm.
for clients, and their multi-million dollar properties. And so he, I think, got with a publicist and got an article put out about Sirhan's signature, which only the name only came about because signature starts with an S,
It was
and everything
alliterative,
at Sirhan starts with an S.
of
Um,
course.
so branding, there you go.
Hmm.
But got with a publicist and put out an article about this new arm with all of the, ideas of what this entails. And
Hmm.
immediately got a phone call and they were like, "Can I talk to Sirhan Signature?" And he was just basically like, "Hi, you're talking to Sirhan Signature. I'm it. I'm him. I'm the arm of
It is
Sirhan
me.
that handles it. Is me, yeah." And obviously it has grown tremendously since then. But I love the idea that sometimes you just take an idea and put it into the world and
Yeah.
then see where the world takes that idea and see how it's okay to be scrappy, essentially.
Hmm.
And another story that I remember listening to on another podcast, How I Built This. Amazing podcast if y'all haven't listened to that one. But How I Built This, I was listening to Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx,
Hmm.
and she talked about how when she first launched Spanx, she would like go into like Nordstrom's or whatever department store that they were in, and she would literally physically move the Spanx to be in like eye level
Hmm.
of and like literally rearrange the store so that Spanx were just exactly where they needed to be so
Yeah.
that people could access them and purchase more. And that is so scrappy and probably not in an entrepreneur handbook somewhere, but she figured out how to make it happen for herself. And I think so many people are afraid to be scrappy. They're
Hmm.
afraid to put something out there because they think they have to have a full plan or a full vision for what that looks like. And
Hmm.
sometimes you just have to figure it out along the way.
Yeah. That's literally the other piece of advice I was thinking about. Nobody actually, when they're doing something new, which entrepreneurship is that, right? You see a problem, you create something, you invent something, you cobble something together to solve that problem because you see it and you see everybody else walking by as if it doesn't exist and you're like, "Hello, what will do you not see this problem?" Nobody knows what they're doing. But they know that they'll figure it out. They don't have all the answers, but they know who to ask or how to figure it out. They know how to problem solve. They know how to get creative. They know how to take initiative and how it's going to
To
be
partner,
temporarily
to
massive.
collaborate.
Yes, they know that they know how much they don't know constantly, and they're like, "Shit, I need help here, right? Let me assemble the Avengers and like get our team together so that we can fix this because I see it and it needs to be addressed and I want to address it." But I had said this in like my newsletter the other night. Like I am by no means expert in all things branding. Candace, neither are you. We know a lot. We have a lot of knowledge, which is why we have this podcast. But I'm learning something new every day. I'm going down article rabbit holes. You listen to podcasts. I do as well. Like, it's just the idea that you have to have it all figured out before you start is a lie. It's a myth. It's an excuse.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't fall into that trap.
The next piece of advice that's really impacted me is from my husband, Dom. I talk about him all the time, but just watching him grow as an entrepreneur and like having the privilege of just like seeing the ups and downs and like how he makes decisions really has helped me to grow as well. We both have been doing better in our business married than we did before.
Collaboration.
Collaboration, yeah, and just like, being able to talk things out with one another.
Hmm.
But Dom always says like it's just numbers. Okay, cool. So you want to make $1 million? Great. Let's just figure out what that means.
Just reverse
Okay,
engineer it.
just reverse engineer it. And it's not to him, it's just not a challenge. It's just like, okay, cool. So that means you have to have whatever, 100 clients, 200 clients. Great. Is that feasible? Like, okay, that's not feasible. Cool. How can we do a group program that puts those clients in a group program instead? Or,
Mhm.
okay, your design team can't take that many people right now. Cool. Hire more designers. That's the answer. It's not, nothing is not figure outable. Everything is figure outable, to
Everything is
quote
figure
Marie
outable.
Forleo. Um, yeah. And so that has just really helped me because he's taken a lot of the emotion out of business
Mhm.
and just let it be numbers. And okay, cool. If that's going to create this problem, there's a solution to that problem too.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
having too much business, is never
Great
really a problem.
problems.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, it can create problems, but
It
like
can
those are
create
solvable
problems, but
problems.
yeah.
In fact, I guarantee you, more money, more problems. But okay, this is like little baby bonus
Yeah.
piece of advice. And you guys have heard us say this if you've been a part of the Clever Crew, but I'm going to say it again on the heels of this mini. Understand. I can't remember which coach had like imparted this to me. But when it comes to numbers, when it comes to money and income, revenue, rates, fees, commissions, blah, 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 all of that, do not separate it from what your self-worth is. Never conflate your self-worth with what you charge. And if you don't believe me saying that, if you feel like a little squirmy inside, like as I just said that, write it down until you believe it. Because the quicker you understand that, the quicker, like Candace said, like Dom understands, it's just numbers. It means nothing about me. If I want to do it, I'm going to go and fucking do it. I'm going to figure it out. And it's not like, oh, how dare, the audacity. Psh, do it. What's the worst?
Do it.
What's the best that could happen? Not worse.
What's the best that can happen?
See, I just caught myself. What's the best that could happen?
All right, y'all. So those are the pieces of advice that really have impacted us as entrepreneurs. And I wanted to give a little shout out to Philly Gal TE. Philly Gal TE?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tight end? Something? I don't know. Oh, Tina. I think it's Tina.
You think it's Tina? Okay.
I think it's Tina. Those are her initials.
It says here, women helping women. I love a give it to me straight approach, especially one that educates, entertains, and empowers. Kat and Candace offer weekly wisdom for women, and it's worth not only listening, but also implementing. This podcast truly has it all. Bold, smart, funny. I'm here for it. I'll take all the advice you have. Keep it coming. Oh, these make me feel so good every time I read them.
I know.
Thank you so much, Philly Gate TE. We appreciate you taking the time to leave us a 5-star review. And if you are listening now and you haven't yet given us a 5-star review, please do so. It really helps us to ask guests to come on when they see that we have a lot of reviews. It helps us get that next level guest for you and makes our podcast run even more smoothly. So thank you for taking the time to do that. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share with a friend. Thanks for joining us on Not Nice, Clever.
Remember to follow Not Nice, Clever wherever you listen to audio.
And if you haven't already, drop that 5-star review.
Share your takeaways. Tell us your story. We love to hear it.
Signing off, you're not so nice, but oh so clever besties that mean business.
See you soon.